Hi, it's Jen, and welcome to my channel. And on my channel, I talk about personal growth and neuroscience. And today, I'm so excited to be talking to Sansan Fibri. When I was first introduced to our app, I was immediately intrigued because I've had like symbolic and meaningful dreams in my life, but I don't know a lot about dream interpretation yet. So I'm so excited to learn more from Sansan. After 15 plus years in film and TV, Sansan became a finalist for Apple's competition series Planet of the Apps and plunged full-time into founding her company, DreaMe. DreaMe is the only AI-powered dream interpretation app, psychotherapist matching platform, and global dream wisdom bank. DreaMe's mission is to help people all around the world gain significant self-insight by decoding their own dreams in a fun, intuitive, and interactive process, and by making professional help more accessible and less costly to improve not only the quality of sleep, but also the waking lives of millions of people and to revolutionize the way people dream. Hi.
That's about right.
So tell me, how did you first get involved in dream interpretation?
Well, I think I've always been quite obsessed with my dreams and what they mean. I think from a very young age, I felt that they carry some kind of mysterious truth that if I could just figure out what it was, that there'd be something very profound there for me. In my 20s, I was interested enough. I got to the curious enough point of taking a course on Jungian dream analysis at the Open Center in New York. And that only got me more addicted. It got me to remember more of my dreams. Dream recall is like a muscle. The more you pay attention to them, the more you assign significance to them, the more you will remember, and the more it's a cycle. And the more helpful they can be to you.
So do you remember like a particular like first dream you had where you were like, oh my gosh, this is like so fascinating and telling me so much about myself? Like what were one of the first dreams where you realized it was such a powerful tool?
I had a recurring dream that started around, I must have been 7 years old, and we had moved to the US from Israel. Just my mom, my sister, and I. So it's kind of like a half family. You know, my mom didn't have a lot of money, so she registered us in school. We were in Madison, Wisconsin, from Israel. But I was there before at age 3. So my English was fine. That wasn't a big problem. But, you know, it's still a displacement for a young child, and everything is new. And to me, it was new and exciting. Unlike to my sister, it was new and foreign or scary. You know, it's just different people have different experiences. But we had to share, my mom and sister and I, to share this kind of, I guess, maybe a queen size mattress on the floor in a room that we had with a bathroom in the back of a house of this couple with 2 children. Because that's the only thing my mom could afford. And I started having this recurring dream of being at the beach and walking into the ocean. But, you know, it was more exploratory. So getting to the deep water, realizing that I am still able to breathe in the water. And over there in the deep water, there was like a whole kingdom of like weird, interesting creatures. There was, and it was at once fascinating and compelling and also terrifying. So it's kind of like a constant push-pull by this new world that I was living in, obviously. There was, you know, an arch that had all these like snails stuck to it, which is really cute and whimsical. But then there was a snake, a sea snake, with only a very, very low, like yay low barrier. And I thought, well, he can slither over that. So again, it was a mix of fantastical and terrifying, which is really what I was going through. I was a kid in a new world, in a new country, with new people, with different customs and different language. So that's kind of my first profound dream experience.
Mm-hmm. And so at 7, were you already trying to like analyze your dream, or was it later on that you looked back at that dream and started thinking about it more deeply?
I think uh, kind of in between the two. I don't think I had the verbal life to think in such analytical terms, but I do feel that I felt very strongly about it. It was more
Mm-hmm.
of a feeling. I felt that it was significant, and I felt that it was my little secret. And I often, as a former, as a storyteller, a former filmmaker, that's really my passion, is telling stories. And I often refer to dreams as kind of the stories that we tell ourselves, our subconscious tells us. And it's a little bit like presenting an emotional roadmap. And obviously, the better you know the map, the better you know where you are in the map, the better choices you could make, or at least make conscious choices rather than be dragged one direction or another.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
So by the time you were 20, how did you decide to take that class?
um, just started having more and more interesting dreams as a young filmmaker at the time. Um, I just thought, wow. I mean, actually, a lot of the world's greatest creations were inspired by dreams. I don't know if you know this, but Google was inspired by dream. The Beatles yesterday was inspired by dream. Even Einstein's theory of relativity. So I think I realized that at 20, I realized that in my life in theater and film, writing, acting, directing, that I had a lot of creative breakthroughs in my dreams. And that was very powerful to me. And I thought if I can tap into them more, then I can extract more of that, of the goodie.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
that's why I went to the class.
so Jung is a disciple of Freud. So like, can you tell us
Right.
more about what like dream interpretation through the Jungian style is?
Yeah. So the thing that separates Jung from Freud is that Freud believed that our dreams come to um, they present repressed things, and Jung believed that they come to express things. They come to express our secret desires, even our fears, our shame, everything, but in a very uninhibited way. And so, to me, the Jungian view of it being a form of expression, um, and a form of helping to understand you better. Uh, I subscribe more to that, and most of modern psychology and modern dream interpretation subscribes more to the Jung school. What was similar between the two of them is that, but Jung took it to the next level, and everybody who came after him, was that the meaning behind every element in your dream, be it a person, a place, or an object, depends on the dreamer, depends on you. So what going into the ocean, what ocean may mean to you, at the time in my life, ocean was presenting a new world for me. But I grew up near quite a wild ocean. So now when I think of ocean, I think of wild or free. While I have a friend who said she finds it calm. For some people, it's very calming. Other people see it as a danger. It's as danger. The sea has its dangers. So that's the thing that really got me about Jungian dream interpretation, and really inspired me to create this app, because there was nothing that really provided this level of personalization.
Yeah. So you mentioned that using dream interpretation can be used for like creativity purposes. Are there any other healing benefits that you've gotten from dream interpretation in your life?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it helps. Dreams really come to contain and process through negative emotions. So it is something that does allow us to deal with things that in waking life we have, fear of judgment and shame. You know, in our dreams, we don't have that. We're uninhibited. And so, for example, very often, if I have just a little, it could be just a little disagreement or something going on that's not completely uh, balanced with my boyfriend, I always have this dream that I either see him walking down the street with another woman, or he's kind of telling me this is it, it's over, it's done. And so what helps me there with understanding, dreams and what they mean, is understanding that it's not about him. It's not that I'm picking up subliminally, that he's, being unfaithful. I don't need to wake up angry at him. I wake up and I go, okay, well, I have a little, there's something unresolved that I have a little anxiety about. Obviously, everything gets inflated in a dream, so that anxiety gets inflated to over every little thing. We're just going to be done, and he's going to be done with me. But I understand it's just my anxiety, and that helps me deal and not have to go to him and say, I dreamt that you were cheating on me. Maybe I'm picking up on something. It doesn't need to be. I've processed the negative emotion, and now I can deal with how to heal from there. Actually, he had a dream. He's one of these guys who used to say, I never remember my dreams. Now he tells me his dreams all the time. And he was telling me this dream, and it was something about where we're together, and then two women are coming, and they kind of drag me away, and they take me to this big boat, and this boat has a bigger group of people, and I'm there talking to them. And I said, what am I talking to them about? He said, money. And I said, okay, well, what does boat represent to you? And what does money represent to you? And I figured out that it's really, his manly anxiety going, she's dealing with investors. She's kind of spreading her wings. And that's just his own, and the women dragging me away. I've become a member. I've become very active in women entrepreneur groups and female founders. So that's definitely a big theme that maybe feels a little like it's pulling me away. And knowing that, I didn't even need to tell him. I just knew that, and now I know how to be empathetic about what he's going through instead of being mad at him if he's being a little mean about something. I realize that it comes from that anxiety that he just basically told me about.
Yeah, I've definitely had friends waking up to like dreams of their boyfriends cheating on them, and they're mad at their boyfriends, and they think that it's like maybe they're picking up on messages that he's cheating on them. But really, it's not necessarily like that they're mind reading and seeing that they're cheating. It's more like there's some subconscious anxiety going on.
What I really want to let everybody know is negative, horrible dreams rarely mean something so negative and horrible. But actually dealing with them helps us process through the horrible emotion. It seems a little much, but once you learn how to break it down, you see that it's not so horrible. It's just normal. It's normal that I get anxiety. It's normal that my boyfriend gets anxiety because I'm out and about, have my baby and, launching a company, and it takes a little bit for my attention towards him. It's okay. It's not so terrible.
Definitely. So are there any other examples of when you've used like your dreams in a way to heal yourself?
Again, as a kid, I didn't understand it as much. And I was away staying with some friends of the family. It was summer vacation, and I was staying there maybe for a few nights, maybe even a week. And it was in a kibbutz. I got to do a little bit of it's kind of like a farm situation. So it was fun for a city girl like me. And I'm sure it was fun for my mom to get a little time off. And I had a dream that my mom died, and I panicked because I woke up and the adults were out of the house. I didn't know how to use the phone. I didn't have permission to use the phone. I didn't, and I was panicking because I had to call my mom and make sure that nothing happened to her. So again, had I had that tool back then, I wouldn't have had to panic. I think it's extremely therapeutic. so many of mind and body and research, as you know, studies point today to actually dealing with what's really going on actually makes it less. That is the therapy, is actually just dealing with it. Just, you know, it's kind of like I recently go, do like Nike, just do it. Just do it. Just do it. Just process through it, because it's so much more scary when it's there and it's away for you and it's this monster. But when you come close, it's like kids, you like look the monster in the eye. It's just a puppy. It's just
So
a sad little puppy that needs a little bit of love and care.
So when you say just process it, you mean like, well, you had a dream about your boyfriend cheating on you. So to process it, like you wake up and you figure out where the anxiety is in your relationship.
Right. You wake up and you know, my biggest advice is ask yourself a multitude of questions. Ask yourself, why is it showing up for me right now? What am I going through in my life that this relates to? What's the overall emotion from the dream? Is it anxiety? Is it just this morning? I have a big investor pitch tonight, and I had a dream, one of those where you show up in school, or this was at an old job that I haven't worked in for years, and I'm so not prepared and I'm flustered. It was very flustered. So it's kind of, where are you? How do you feel about the place? What's the main emotion? Who are the people there? How do you feel about them? So just asking yourself a lot of questions, that helps to process. This is really what, you know, therapy does, is it kind of puts a type of a mirror. You know, it's kind of that joke of you saying to your therapist, but doctor, what should I think about that? And they go, what do you think about it? What do you think you should feel about it? How do you feel about it? It really is, you know, it really is working with the person. So if you kind of work with yourself, which is not easy, which is why I had to develop this, it's a little bit like therapists. They don't analyze themselves. I mean, sure, they have maybe a little more access to tools to understand what they're going through, but they have to go to therapy regularly, and they have to go to therapy with a different therapist. It's very hard to analyze yourself, because you're not unbiased. You're yourself asking yourself the question and then answering it, already coming from a very self-centered place.
Yeah, so it sounds like remembering our dreams is a good opportunity for your own healing work. So people, would you say, who like can remember their dreams more often and analyze their dreams every day, are at some sort of an advantage to people who never remember their dreams?
I think they're at an advantage to themselves if they weren't doing it, meaning they become a better, more proficient, more connected, maybe more focused in relation to themselves. You know, once you start comparing people to one another, they have a million differences. But yeah, I do believe it's a very beneficial tool to
and
really
how would
anybody.
Yeah, and how would you say our dreams are connected to our intuition? Are they one and the same, or are they kind of different from each other?
I think they're one and the same. Our dreams represent, actually, they're more intuitive than we are in our waking life, because we're not inhibited by, oh, that's not possible. I mean, we can fly, we can see a pink elephant crossing the street and a train in the sky. So we're more intuitive, which is why you can tap into and unleash some, not only creativity as relates to art, but also creative problem solving. You know, basically, there's a doctor, Rosalind Cartwright, she's the chairman of Rush University Medical Center in Chicago. And she says, you know how we go through 4 to 6 REM cycles in our sleep, which are the cycles where we're deeper asleep and we do dream more in it. And she suggests that throughout the night, we kind of deal with one problem, but we try different scenarios in the different REM. So it might look like very different dreams, but they're going to be dealing with the same problem. And you're just testing out different solutions and you're less inhibited. So I'd say yes, more intuitive.
Cool. Would you say in dreams, like, are there elements of randomness, or does everything in the dream have a meaning?
I think everything, as much as everything in our life has a meaning, everything in our dream has a meaning. Um, and I happen to believe everything in our life has a meaning. I mean, you know, it doesn't have to go to the micro of, um, the minutia of things. But yes, in the bigger picture, yes, it does have a meaning because
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would like to think so, because what kind of life is it going to be if not everything had a meaning?
Uh-huh.
What would be worth it?
Yeah. So everything down to like a yellow shirt in the dream, like there's a reason why that shirt is yellow, and like,
Probably, yeah.
mm-hmm.
What does yellow represent to you?
Yeah.
Was it a button down? Was it a t-shirt? Was
Mm-hmm.
it something that you have in your wardrobe, or something you've never worn before? Something you've seen on somebody that maybe you admire or maybe don't like?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I would say yes, down to the shirt color would be a significance.
Very cool. How did you come to the decision to make a dream interpretation app?
So basically, I just wanted it. I just, I kept waking up, and my friends got very annoyed that, back in the day, I was living with roommates, and I would say, first thing in the morning, I have to tell you about my dream. And they'd be like, oh, not again. And, we all kind of just want to be heard and be understood. And so fast forward 10 years, I thought to myself, well, this is like 3 years ago. I thought to myself, well, there's an app for everything. There's got to be an app for that. And I looked, and the only sources I found were more dream dictionary style. It's very one size fits all. You dreamt of an ocean, you dreamt of a yellow shirt. Yellow means this, and shirt means that. Well, yellow can mean very different things to you or me.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe your significant other wears yellow all the time. Maybe yellow is your favorite color. Maybe I don't like yellow. For me, yellow is light. I always like yellow flowers in my home, but I never wear yellow. So it's a different relationship I have to yellow. So all these sources that I found were just not complete, not relevant, very generic, a little bit like reading your horoscope in Cosmopolitan magazine versus getting your chart done according to where you were born, the place, the time. It's just a much more. So I thought, okay, well, I'd love to, I think it should do that. It should do that. And for a year, I kind of brewed with that idea, but I didn't come from the tech industry, and I didn't, I knew it was cost a lot of money, and I didn't know anybody in that world. And I heard about they were casting for Apple was creating a show that's a little bit like Shark Tank for app builders called Planet of the Apps. And I thought, what the heck? I'm going to submit. Understanding. It was a 1-minute pitch video was the first submission. So understanding as a content creator, and being used to pitching so many, TV shows and scripts, and I was comfortable with that. And I thought, if it happens, then I'll find the right people. It's kind of, let's build it and they'll come. And that's what happened. I made it all the way to the finals. And two things that happened from it. One was I had to develop it on paper, at least, to the ultimate, because the whole process until the last submission, which was a 10-minute pitch video. And again, as a content creator, I go, oh my God, filling 10 minutes of content. That's like, so I had to go into every level of functionality, every level of subscription, kind of a general business plan, or a general kind of how do we market this plan, and who to, demographic and everything. So I had to develop it a lot. The second thing that happened was that I got, I felt very validated. I was like, okay, Apple thinks this is a unique and viable product. And so who am I to say it's not? And then and that's me. Once I get the sign, I plunged right into the pool head first. And then, they say about an entrepreneur is somebody who jumps off a cliff and builds a plane on the way up, something like that. So that's kind of what I did.
Yeah, so what will be going on in the app that makes it more personalized for people? So instead of the yellow shirt just meaning one thing, how will people use the app to be like, well, for me, a yellow shirt means this?
Yeah, that's a very good question. And that's really the basis of our AI technology, our artificial intelligence technology. We would break it down. It would be kind of like one of those little tests that you do on Facebook. Pick one of four. We would let you pick one of four of meanings that run the gamut. Let's say yellow is happy or angry or calming or exciting. So it would run the gamut. And according to what you pick for each keyword, the AI system puts it together, pulls from various resources rather than the one size fits all kind of thing, and builds the right meaning for you.
Cool. And then how does the psychotherapist matching work?
Okay, so the psychotherapist matching works in a similar way to some other psychotherapist matching platforms like Talkspace, BetterHelp. It's for a monthly subscription. Ours is lower. You get 1 to 3 emailed interpretations. So on top of all the AI technology, unlimited, you can put unlimited dreams, but you get per month 1 to 3 added emailed interpretation where a certified psychotherapist does it by email with you, because human beings still, thank God, have a little more intuition than a machine, even the most sophisticated one. And 1 to 3 video sessions, so 30-minute video sessions. So what happens here is the market has proved to have a demand for, or apps that as successful as Talkspace and BetterHelp has proved that there is a demand for therapy or kind of at least emotional well-being at your fingertips. That's accessible, affordable, confidential. You only give you a screen name. You're in the confidence in your own home. You don't need to go and look for who's a good therapist. We match you with one. And obviously it's much more cost effective. Our subscriptions are going to run from $24.99 to $95.99 per month. So one session with a therapist costs, I'd say, $150 to $350 an hour. And what puts us apart from the other psychotherapist matching apps is the fact that we've been on to some research that proves that with dream work, actually 80 to 90% of psychotherapy patients do bring dreams to the therapist. The therapist is, sometimes comfortable dealing with it. Sometimes they're not comfortable dealing with it, which is great for us. But basically, when a therapist does deal with someone with their dreams, they have a much more immediate and direct access to your core issues and what they call your cognitive schema, kind of the makeup of your personality. Instead of taking sessions upon sessions of time and money in order to find out how do you relate to the world around you, which can take in therapy months upon months, we kind of zero right into, we dream about our core issues. So a therapist has an immediate view of that and is able to tackle that in a very succinct way with the system that we build.
Cool. And can you tell me more about the Global Dream Wisdom Bank?
Absolutely. So we're building the world's first and only dream insight and cognitive behavior, human psychology insight driven database. It doesn't mean that this is what they call big data. It doesn't mean that, let's say, Jen dreamt about a lamp breaking in your house and you put it in DreaMe, and the next day you see on your Facebook ads, you see a lot of lamp ads. That's not the case. We're not using personal information because dreams are very, very intimate. It's very important for us that people know that they're very safe and secure. What we are using is a system by which we can aggregate the data and understand trends. So a little bit like regular medicine, it took this many people who had a heart attack at this age and also had high cholesterol diet for them to know, hey, high cholesterol diet at this age makes you X% more likely to have a heart attack. And then they can turn it around and use it as preventative. In a similar way, we're looking for trends. Maybe people who are diagnosed with chronic depression has a certain type of dream. And maybe someone who's not yet diagnosed can have, you know, again, the medical community can turn it around to early detection and go, well, that's a warning sign. And, you know, as you know, with depression, sometimes it's too far, you're too far in to ask for help. You're too far in to know that help will help.
Yeah.
And so catching it ahead of time, having a more preventative mentality. So this is, you know, when we've been talking to some quantitative researchers, Sleep Lab in Harvard, and they say this is going to be very, very valuable to the medical and scientific community.
That's fascinating. So the big data is going to go to scientists like those at Harvard, like they're already going to be looking at this?
Let's say sleep health scientists, mental health researchers, medical community. It could be, you know, the psychiatry community, the psychology community. It could be healthcare providers. You know, again, the idea is to better for them to be able to help them help us, to help them with information that's kind of a first of its kind type of database that can really help them improve the services they give us. So,
do you have any tips for people who don't have DreaMe yet but want to start interpreting their dreams? Where's a good place for them to start practicing that?
Good question. First of all, sign up on our website, www.dreame, DREAME, app.com. And then these people would be the first one to be notified when the app is available to be downloaded. Meanwhile, hey, send us comments. We have a Facebook page. All our social media handles are @DreaMe app. So you can send us questions on our Facebook page, and we'd be happy to go through a little exercise with you.
Yeah, and like it said in the bio, people who practice this, like, it'll increase their sleep and like their creativity, their understanding of themselves. Are there any other health benefits I'm leaving out?
Well, it reduces anxiety and depression. It helps you sleep better because it's kind of a vicious cycle, the sleep thing, right? We're actually a society that's chronically sleep deprived. 7 out of 10 adults in the US have the kind of stress and anxiety daily that interferes with their sleep. So again, breaking that cycle, it's a little bit like when you don't sleep well, you're more prone to anxiety or depression. But when you have more anxiety, you don't sleep well. So it's, you know, while direct sleep aids or, you know, sleep health systems help they break into the sleep part of the cycle, we break into the emotional part of the cycle, which is very much, you know, still part of the cycle. We just break in from a different place. But yes, the idea is it's a cyclical thing. Same thing with mental health benefits. The more you are able to deal with your issues, the more they are not dealing with you, the more they don't have a hold on you. I used to ask my therapist when I used to go to therapy, I used to ask her, okay, Eva, so now we know that this is why, and this is my trigger, and this is why, and how does this knowledge help me? Because I'm a doer. I want to know what I can do about it. And she said, well, when you don't understand, when you don't see where it comes from and what triggers you, you're like a horse with blinders. You're blindly led by your emotions. You're reactive. rather than seeing the full picture and going, okay, I understand why I'm feeling like that. And I choose not to respond like that. I choose to see it like this, which seems to, from my experience, be more beneficial to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I think a lot of people are out there living with blinders on, but maybe if they looked at their dreams, they would be able to see things more clearly if they like
Yeah,
actually
right.
really analyze them.
We're always so good at, sitting with a friend and hearing their problems and giving. I mean, I have friends who have given me amazing advice, and then they turn around and have the exact same situation in their life. And I'm like, but you just told me how to do it. How are you not doing it the same way? It's very hard, but we also, our focus is, needs to be more on ourselves as what's really going on, and not so much, ooh, how do I feel about what they're going on, what
Yeah.
they're going through.
Yeah. Well, I'm really excited to start using the app when it's ready.
Very
Is there
excited to
anything
have you.
that you want to share with everybody before this interview ends?
Let's create the dreamer revolution.
Great. And I'll put all of your links in the description below so everybody can
Cool.
check those out and make sure to get on the list so you can find out when DreaMe is available for everybody. Hi, so I hope you enjoyed that conversation with Sansan. I am so excited that I'm a part of the beta testing for DreaMe. So I might be on here and telling you more about the app as I do the beta test. And I will highly encourage everyone to get the app when it is ready for the general public. But I had a great time interviewing Sansan, and I plan on interviewing other entrepreneurs on my channel in the future, ones who inspire me and people who have found something that healed them and found a way to turn into a business. Those are the types of entrepreneurs I'm interested in interviewing. So if you have any entrepreneurs in mind that you think I should interview, let me know in the comments below, and I will see if they are a fit and if I should get in touch with them. So let me know in the comments below. And if you like this idea of me interviewing people on my channel, I think it's a great way to share amazing entrepreneurs to the world and just an opportunity for me to have these amazing conversations. If you like this video, please like it. And if you want to see more interviews like this, please subscribe because, like I said, I will be doing more of these on my channel. And I also have other videos on personal growth and neuroscience. So if you'd like to check those out, go to my channel. I have my playlist organized in those main categories so you can really get the benefit of my channel. All right, bye.